I thought I was the chosen one. Tonight I learned I was just the target.
Luciana stood alone in the parking lot behind the Blackwood winter estate. Snow fell hard, turning the asphalt into a white blur. Her silver gala gown clung to her legs. Soaked at the hem, mascara ran in black rivers down her cheeks. In her trembling hand, she held a glossy café photograph. One corner was burned. A faint coffee ring stained the edge. Two women smiled at the camera. One was Victoria Chin. The other was Jean Rivera, Luciana's mother. On the back, a date was written in blue ink. March 2019, 5 months before the bakery loan was denied. Luciana's knees buckled. The snow caught her fall like cold hands. She finally understood. None of it had been an accident. Not the denial, not the contract, not the love. She had been chosen, but why? Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you. 18 months earlier, Luciana Rivera had been a different woman. Her family's bakery in Vermont had stood for 3 generations. Every morning, Main Street smelled like warm bread and butter. Her grandmother had started it. Her mother had grown it. Luciana was supposed to protect it. Now a white envelope sat on her kitchen table. Denied. The word burned. John Rivera stood at the sink, hands cracked and dusted with flour. Her shoulders looked tired. We can appeal, Jean murmured. With what money? Luciana asked. We're 3 months behind on rent. John turned, eyes glassy. We've never missed a payment. Jean whispered. Not in 30 years. Luciana stared at the letter again. First National Bank. Account Review Department. A code sat at the top right. FN0219 RIV44. Below it, a line that made Luciana's stomach tighten. Elevated Risk Assessment. Form 17C. Then the explanation. Cold as steel. This doesn't make sense, Luciana said. They know us. Jane swallowed, as if the truth tasted awful. The chain bakery opened. John said, people want cheap now. Outside 2 blocks away, bright lights glowed every morning. Cheap loaves, long lines. Luciana watched her mother's hands tremble. Those hands had built a legacy. Now the legacy was cracking. There has to be another way, Luciana whispered. Sean's silence felt like an answer. That night, Luciana sat alone behind the bakery counter. The lights were off. Only a street lamp painted shadows across the glass. Snow began to fall outside. Dreams didn't die loudly. Luciana thought. They died quietly. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. But then she answered.
Hello?
Luciana said. A man's voice came through, polished and cold. Miss Rivera, the man asked. Who is this? Luciana demanded. My name is Martin Vega, he replied. I represent Sebastián Blackwood. Luciana's brow furrowed. The hotel family? Luciana asked. The same? Martin confirmed. Mr. Blackwood requests a meeting tomorrow. Luciana's grip tightened on the phone. Why would a billionaire want me? She asked. Martin paused. He needs a wife, Martin said. You need money. Luciana stopped breathing. That's insane, Luciana whispered. Perhaps, Martin replied. 10 in the morning. The Blackwood estate. The line went dead. Luciana stared at the dark window. Snow drifted past like ash. She should have deleted the number. She should have laughed. But the letter sat there. Denied. Form 17C. And the ovens needed repairs. Luciana didn't know it yet, but something had already been set in motion. The Blackwood estate looked like a fairy tale that didn't want her inside. White columns, frosted gardens, a circular driveway lined with snow-dusted trees. A butler led her through marble hallways under crystal chandeliers. Luciana felt the weight of money in every breath. She didn't belong here. Then she saw him. Sebastián Blackwood sat behind an oak desk. Dark hair, sharp jaw, eyes like winter storms. He did not smile. "Miss Rivera," Sebastián said. "Thank you for coming." "I almost didn't," Luciana replied. "But you did," Sebastián said, gesturing. "Please." Luciana sat. Her heart punched her ribs. "Your man mentioned a proposal," Luciana said. "You're not really looking for a wife." "On the contrary," Sebastián replied. "I need a wife for 1 year." Luciana blinked. "Why?" she asked. Sebastián leaned back. "My grandfather's will," he explained. "I inherit the estate when I marry." Luciana's throat tightened. "And if you don't?" Luciana asked. "Everything goes to my cousin," Sebastián said. "If I'm unmarried by 30, when is that?" Luciana asked. 6 weeks, Sebastián answered. 6 weeks. A wedding. A stranger. Luciana tried to stand on principle. Then Sebastián spoke again. "Your bakery is failing," Sebastián said. "Your loan was denied." Luciana's stomach dropped. "How do you know that?" she asked. "Because I looked," Sebastián replied. "I can pay you 300,000. Luciana's breath hitched. "For what?" Luciana asked. Though she knew. "Marriage," Sebastián said. "Separate bedrooms. Public appearances when needed." Luciana felt heat behind her eyes. "And then?" she asked. "A divorce after 1 year," Sebastián said. "You keep the money. I keep the inheritance." Luciana's hands trembled. This was not love. This was leverage. "And if I refuse?" Luciana asked. "Then you leave," Sebastián replied. "But we both know you won't." Luciana saw Gian's face, Gian's hands, the ovens, the suppliers. Denied. Form 17C. "I have conditions," Luciana said. "Name them," Sebastián replied. "The money goes to the bakery account," Luciana said. "Not to me." "Done," Sebastián said. "And my family never knows," Luciana added. "Never." Sebastián studied her. Something flickered across his face. "Agreed," Sebastián said. He slid a contract toward her. 50 pages. Fine print. A life in clauses. Luciana picked up the pen. She didn't know it yet, but this signature would change everything. If you're enjoying this story, subscribe now. The wedding took place at the Blackwood Winter Estate. 200 guests. White roses. A string quartet. Snow fell beyond tall windows. Luciana wore a gown that cost more than her car. Sebastián waited at the altar in a tailored black suit. To the crowd, they looked perfect. No one saw the contract. No one saw fear. The officiant smiled. "You may kiss the bride," the officiant announced. Sebastián leaned in. His lips brushed hers. Brief, careful, professional. Luciana felt something spark. Anyway, she told herself it was shock. The reception glittered. Champagne flowed. Cameras flashed. Luciana smiled until her cheeks hurt. During their first dance, Sebastian's voice dropped near her ear. "You're good at this," Sebastian murmured. "At what?" Luciana asked. "Pretending," Sebastian replied. Luciana met his eyes. "So are you," she said. For a moment, something moved between them. Then the song ended, and the air went cold again. The first weeks were polite. Separate bedrooms, neutral dinners, smiles for cameras. Luciana poured herself into the bakery. The money arrived fast. A wire confirmation, printed at First National, showed the memo line, FN 0219. Arrive 44. Jen cried when Luciana showed her the new oven receipt. "How did you do this?" Jean asked. "An investor." Luciana lied. "Someone believes in us." John held her face like Luciana was still a child. "You saved us," Shen whispered. Luciana nodded, but the lie sat heavy in her chest. By month 2, Luciana started noticing details at the estate. Books on Sebastian's nightstand about small business recovery, questions he asked about John's health, fresh pastries he ordered from Rivera's bakery every week. One morning, Luciana found him opening a bag of her bread at the kitchen counter. "You don't have to do that," Luciana said. "Do what?" Sebastian asked. "Buy our bread," Luciana replied. "The contract doesn't require it." Sebastian looked at her. "Maybe I just like the bread," he said. Heat rose to her cheeks. Luciana didn't know it yet, but she was already starting to care. Month 3 brought the first real crack. A Blackwood family brunch. Crystal glasses, silver trays. A table too long to feel friendly. Sebastian's cousin Raymond arrived late. He wore a smile like a blade. Raymond looked Luciana up and down. "So this is her," Raymond said. "The bakery girl." Luciana's spine went rigid. Sebastian's jaw tightened. "Watch your mouth," Sebastian warned. Raymond chuckled. "I'm just impressed," Raymond said. "You married a problem and called it romance." Luciana felt every eye on her. The staff hovered, silent. She realized something then. In this world, she was decoration or ammunition. Raymond leaned closer, voice low. "Tell me," Raymond whispered. "Do you sleep in the servant wing? Or does he let you pretend?" Luciana's throat closed. Sebastian's hand clenched around his glass. Raymond smiled like he'd won. Luciana swallowed the humiliation, not because she was weak, because Jean needed that bakery, and because Luciana had already traded pride for survival. That was injustice. Number 2, and Luciana didn't forget it. Month 4 shifted something, not in public, in private. Dinners lasted longer. Silences felt less sharp. Sebastian laughed once at something Luciana said. The sound startled her. It warmed the room. Sebastian began speaking about his past. His parents died when he was 12. A car accident. A grandfather who measured love in expectations. Luciana spoke of hers. A father who left when she was 8. Love that disappeared without warning. One night, the fire burned low. Sebastian set his glass down carefully. "Is that why you agreed to this?" Sebastian asked. "Because you don't believe in real love anyway?" Luciana breathed in. "Maybe," Luciana admitted. "Or maybe I only know how to sacrifice." Sebastian looked at her for a long time. "You're not a sacrifice, Luciana," he said. The way he said her name did something to her chest. Luciana told herself she was safe. Luciana was wrong. Month 6, the annual Blackwood Winter Gala. 500 guests. ice sculptures, crystal flutes, power gathered under 1,000 lights. Luciana wore a silver gown that caught every chandelier. Sebastián looked at her, like he forgot the contract existed. "You're beautiful," Sebastián said. "You're not so bad yourself," Luciana replied. Sebastián laughed. Luciana realized she loved that sound. Near midnight, Sebastián touched her hand. "Can we talk privately?" Sebastián asked. Luciana nodded. They stepped onto the balcony. Snow fell gently around them. Sebastián held her hands. His fingers were warm despite the cold. "I need to tell you something," Sebastián said. "What is it?" Luciana asked. Sebastián swallowed. "The contract ends in 6 months," Sebastián said. "I know," Luciana replied. "I don't want it to end," Sebastián admitted. Luciana stopped breathing. "What are you saying?" she whispered. "This stopped being fake for me months ago," Sebastián confessed. "I'm falling in love with you." Luciana's eyes burned. Sebastián searched her face. "Tell me I'm wrong," Sebastián said. "Tell me it's still business, and I'll never mention it again." Luciana looked at him. Snow, lights, a man who should have been a stranger. "You're not wrong," Luciana whispered. Sebastián kissed her. "Real, not for cameras, not for money, for her." Luciana felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. If you need to know what happens next, hit subscribe. The morning after the gala, Luciana moved through the estate like she was floating. Everything felt different. Sebastián brought her coffee. He looked almost shy. They talked about the future. A real future. Luciana let herself believe. That afternoon, a package arrived. No return address. Only her name, written neatly. Luciana opened it with shaking hands. Inside was the glossy café photograph again. Burned corner, coffee ring stain. Victoria smiling beside Jean. March 2019. 5 months before the loan denial. Luciana's blood turned to ice. A note lay beneath it. "Ask your husband about Form 17C. Ask him who requested the elevated risk assessment. Ask him who chose you." Luciana's hands went numb. The room tilted. No, this couldn't be real. She ran to Sebastián's study. Drawers opened. Folders shifted. Paper, scraped, paper. Then she found it. A file labeled Rivera Bakery. Inside were financial profiles and bank summaries, dated February 2019, 1 month before she applied. Her breath hitched. Luciana kept digging. Then she found Form 17C, Elevated Risk Assessment, the same code as the denial, FN 0219, RIV 44, in the margin. Faint initials were written beside a checkbox. VC. Luciana's vision blurred. Her fingers shook. As she turned the page, emails appeared behind it. Not from Sebastián, from Victoria. Target identified. Luciana Rivera. Perfect candidate. Proceed with credit interference. Once desperate, she'll accept any offer. Luciana read the lines again. Target, interference, desperate. The next pages made it worse. Payments, dates, bank traces, and there was that code again. FN 0219, RIV 44, like a scar. Then the final email answered the real why. Once married, maintain distance. Let her fall in love, then expose the arrangement publicly. Sebastián will be humiliated. The board will lose confidence. I'll be positioned for takeover through Raymond. Raymond, Sebastian's cousin, Victoria's boyfriend. Luciana felt something inside her go quiet. She wasn't a bride. She was a weapon. She grabbed the folder. Her hands were steady now. She ran out of the study, out of the estate, into the storm. In the parking lot, snow hit her face like needles. Her silver gown soaked darker at the hem. Her mascara ran again. Her phone rang. Sebastian. Luciana stared at the screen. It rang again. Again. She answered. Luciana, where are you? Sebastian demanded. I've been looking everywhere. Did you know? Luciana cut in. Know what? Sebastian asked. About Victoria, Luciana snapped. About Form 17C. Silence. Luciana heard him breathe. Where did you get that? Sebastian asked. Answer me, Luciana pleaded. Did you know she destroyed my family? Sebastian hesitated. The hesitation was a confession. Not at first, Sebastian admitted. Luciana's knees almost gave out. When? Luciana demanded. 3 months ago, Sebastian confessed. I found the emails. I was going to tell you. Luciana's laugh was empty. And you kept playing husband, Luciana said, while I fell in love. It wasn't a lie, Sebastian insisted. What I feel is real. How can I believe anything you say? Luciana whispered. She ended the call. The snow fell harder, and Luciana realized she had never been more alone. The next 72 hours were the darkest of her life. She hid in a motel outside town. She didn't eat. She barely slept. Memories replayed like punishment. The contract, the kiss, hope, all of it poisoned. On the second night, Luciana stood in the motel bathroom. Harsh light, a cracked mirror, a face she didn't recognize. Mascara smudged, eyes swollen. She leaned closer. A stranger stared back. Luciana whispered to the glass, as if it could answer. Who did I become? She asked. The mirror stayed silent. Luciana's throat tightened. Real love isn't for me, she said. I'm only good for sacrifice. Her breath shook. Then she lifted her chin. Something steadier rose under the pain. No, Luciana said. I deserve to be chosen too. She stared at herself until she believed it. Even a little. Then her phone buzzed again. A message broke through. From Victoria. The anniversary gala is in 3 days. I'll be announcing something special. You can attend or not. Either way, the outcome is the same. Luciana stared at the screen. 3 days. Victoria was going to expose the contract. Destroy Sebastian publicly. Destroy Luciana privately. Unless Luciana moved first. She called Sebastian. He answered. On the first ring. Luciana. Sebastian breathed. Thank God. Are you okay? I want the truth, Luciana said. All of it. No more lies. Anything. Sebastian promised. Meet me at Rivera's bakery, Luciana ordered. 1 hour. She ended the call. Whatever happened next, she would face it on her own ground. Sebastian arrived alone, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes. He looked like a man who hadn't slept since losing her. Luciana felt nothing, or she tried to. The bakery smelled like flour and history. Luciana stood behind the counter. Sebastian sat across from her. Talk, Luciana said. Victoria and I were engaged 3 years ago. Sebastian began. I thought I loved her. Luciana didn't blink. She wanted the company. Sebastian continued. When my grandfather required marriage for inheritance, she panicked. Because you wouldn't marry her, Luciana said. Because I finally saw her, Sebastián corrected. And I ended it. He swallowed. She promised she'd make me pay, Sebastián said. Luciana's jaw tightened. So she found me, Luciana said. Sebastián nodded. She needed someone genuine, Sebastián explained. Someone I might actually fall for. Luciana's hands clenched. And you played along, Luciana accused. No, Sebastián said. I didn't know until months after we married. Luciana leaned forward. Then why didn't you tell me? Luciana asked. Sebastián's eyes filled with something like shame. I was afraid, Sebastián admitted. Afraid of what? Luciana demanded. Losing you, Sebastián whispered. Luciana looked away. Her throat burned. Sebastián slid a folder across the counter. I brought proof, Sebastián said. Bank traces, emails, payments. Luciana opened it. The evidence was brutal. Wire transfers. Timestamps. A loan officer's name. Form 17C copies. And there, again, the code. FN0219, RV44. Sebastián watched her face. I was building a case, Sebastián said. I wanted to protect you. Luciana's voice stayed flat. You should have told me, Luciana said. I know, Sebastián replied. You lied to me. Luciana said. I know, Sebastián repeated. Luciana inhaled slowly. She thought of Nietzsche's hands. She thought of Raymond's sneer. She thought of Victoria's plan. Luciana looked at Sebastián again. I don't know if I can forgive you, Luciana admitted. Sebastián nodded once. I'll spend my life earning it, Sebastián said. If you let me. Luciana closed the folder. Then we stop her, Luciana said. Sebastián's shoulders sagged with relief. Yes, Sebastián breathed. At the same time, across town, Victoria stood alone in a penthouse bathroom. The gala was hours away. The mirror in front of her was perfect. Her smile wasn't. Victoria opened a drawer and pulled out an old photograph. A little girl, a man in a suit, a father who looked away. Victoria's eyes tightened. She pressed the photo to the counter. Not again, Victoria whispered. For 1 second, her face looked young, afraid. Then she inhaled. She wiped one tear with one finger, and the mask returned. The monster was back on schedule. Subscribe now. The truth is about to come out. The anniversary gala was more extravagant than the wedding. The Blackwood winter estate glittered with 1,000 lights. Ice sculptures stood like frozen ghosts. Crystal flutes clinked in polished hands. Power gathered in one room. Victoria stood near the stage, in a red dress, like blood on snow. Her smile looked certain. She did not see Luciana enter. She did not see the folder under Luciana's arm. The evening moved through speeches and toast lines. At 10 o'clock, Victoria took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Victoria began. Thank you for joining us tonight. The room quieted. Marriage is beautiful, Victoria continued. Built on love, trust, honesty. Murmurs rippled. She lifted papers. But what happens when a marriage is built on lies? Victoria asked. I have evidence. Sebastián Blackwood's marriage is a fraud, Victoria announced. A contract designed to steal his inheritance. Gasps rose. Victoria smiled wider. This company deserves integrity, Victoria said. Not deception. I move for an immediate board vote. Luciana's voice cut through the air. I have a motion of my own, Luciana said. Every head turned. Victoria's smile faltered. Mrs. Blackwood, Victoria purred. Come to defend your fake husband? Luciana stepped onto the stage. She did not tremble. No, Luciana replied. I came to tell the truth. Luciana faced the crowd. Yes, Luciana said. Our marriage began as a contract. Victoria's smile returned. Thank you for confirming, Victoria started. Luciana lifted the glossy café photograph. Burned corner, coffee ring stain. 2 women smiling. Victoria, Gion. March 2019. This was the 3rd time. And this time, it meant everything. But I wasn't desperate by accident, Luciana said. Victoria's face drained. That's ridiculous, Victoria snapped. You have no proof. Luciana opened the folder. I have proof, Luciana said. Form 17C. Luciana held up a document. Precise elevated risk assessment. Luciana read aloud. Case FN 0219, RIV 44. A ripple moved through the crowd. Victoria's lips parted. Luciana turned another page. I have bank traces, Luciana said. Payments to a loan officer. Luciana held up the margin close enough for cameras. And I have initials, Luciana added. VC. Victoria stepped back, like she'd been hit. Luciana raised her phone. And I have your voice, Luciana said. Luciana pressed play. Victoria's voice filled the room. Once married, maintain distance. Let her fall in love. Then expose the arrangement publicly. Luciana stopped the audio. After a few seconds, silence hit like a wall. Victoria's composure shattered. This is fabricated, Victoria shouted. You can't. Sebastián stepped forward. The authorities have been notified, Sebastián said. Bank fraud, conspiracy, corporate manipulation. Security moved toward the stage. Victoria's eyes darted. No allies. No exit. As security gripped her arm, Victoria leaned toward Luciana. He'll never really love you. Victoria spat. Venemesu, you're nothing but a baker's daughter. Luciana looked at her. Maybe, Luciana said. But I'm a baker's daughter who beat you. Security led Victoria away. Whispers exploded. Cameras flashed. Sebastián took Luciana's hand. Careful. You didn't have to do that, Sebastián murmured. Admit everything. Luciana didn't look away. Yes, I did, Luciana said. No more lies. No more contracts. Sebastián's eyes shone. I love you, Luciana, Sebastián said. Not because of paper. Because of you. Luciana felt tears build. I love you too, Luciana whispered. Sebastián kissed her. Real. Earned. And despite everything, the crowd began to applaud. 1 year later, Rivera's bakery was thriving. 3 locations. Long lines. Warm bread. John Rivera finally retired, spending afternoons in a garden behind the original shop. The sign still read, Rivera's Bakery. Some things were too precious to change. At closing time, Sebastián walked through the door with snow on his shoulders. Warm, ready? Sebastián asked. Almost, Luciana replied. Luciana untied her apron and looked around the shop, the ovens, the counter, the smell of home. She had saved it. Not alone, but she had saved it. Sebastián watched her face. Gentle, you okay? Sebastián asked. Better than okay, Luciana said. They stepped outside together. Snow fell softly over Main Street. 1 year ago, Luciana had stood alone in a storm. Now she stood with the man she loved, not because of a contract, because she chose him, and he chose her. Sebastián stopped under a street light and pulled out a small box. "I have something for you," Sebastián said. Inside was a ring. Simple, elegant, 1 diamond, catching the light. "Our first marriage was business," Sebastián said. "This one is real." He swallowed. "Will you marry me for real?" Sebastián asked. Luciana laughed through tears. "Is this a proposal?" Luciana asked. "The worst kept secret in Vermont," Sebastián replied. Luciana looked at the ring, then at him. "Yes," Luciana whispered. Sebastián slid the ring onto her finger. They kissed as snow fell around them. Luciana finally understood. Love wasn't a contract. It wasn't sacrifice bought with fear. It was choosing someone every day, especially when it was hard. The snow kept falling, but Luciana wasn't cold anymore. She was home. This story was inspired by real events. Names, locations, and certain details have been changed, and events have been dramatized for narrative purposes. How would you rate this story out of 10? Tell us in the comments. To support the channel, subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.